Right, hopefully it's working this time. Having continual problems with this Elgato Stream Deck and Wavelink software. I'm working with their tech support stuff to try and get through it, but every time I reinstall it, it screws around with all the audio devices, and then you start streaming, you don't realise the microphone's not working again. Anyway, replacement stream, here we go. Everything's fine. Right, so it turns out there's a problem. So this is where I thought we were. Right, I thought we'd done this. We were going to do this later. I thought we'd done this, done this, done this, done this. And technically I have done all these things, you know. But there's a problem. And I just realised it a few minutes ago. The problem is that when I did this diagram, I wrote down choose process for each part. But in the list of stuff that we wrote the other day, when we were going through working out what the workflow should be, we wrote down decide the processes, plural, to be used for each part in the job. That is because a part could be used on the top and on the bottom, and you want pick and place for the top, and maybe you want manual assembly for the bottom, right? So there may be two processes for a given part, right? When we were writing a bunch of code the other day, we only supported one process for each part. And then we reused some of that code to do some of the other later steps as well, and now it's all pear-shaped. So we've got to fix that. The first step in fixing that is to fix this. Processes. You see? Processes. Plural. Right. Fine. So yeah, so today we're basically, we've taken a bit of a step backwards, it seems. Oops, a daisy. What happened there? And we're working on this one. Again. But the problem is, all this stuff is now going to get in the way. It's going to get in the way. So it's going to be a bit challenging. But we'll see. We'll see. Right. So, what have we got? We've got assign process to parts. This is the thing that's wrong and doesn't have the right, requirement on it. Also, yesterday we added like the assigning loadouts to parts and so on, and a bunch of this stuff got refactored. And the assignment ended up getting refactored into part states. That is, a given part can have a loadout and a process, but this is incorrect, because a part can be used in the loadout for the bottom, and it can also be used for the loadout for the top, and it can be used for the loadout for the process for the doing the bottom, and the loadout for the process doing for the top. Right. Let's have a look at the assigned loadout and what that did, and where we've got these phases. So we've got these phases, and the phase says top has a reference and a process and a loadout. So should we put the part states with phases, or, and I'm not sure that's really right. I mean, it might be, or should we put a list of phases against each of the part? Now my brain is telling me not to put the phases with the parts. Because of the whole refdes situation. So you want to know if a phase is complete because all of the placements for that phase have been placed, right? And at some point coming up, we've got this choose placement ordering for each phase. Right. So what I'm thinking is that the part states belong with the phase. Oh, it's not easy, this, is it? But how does that fix things and break things? Like, choose processes for each part. I mean, do you do that? Is that right? I mean, yeah. Choose processes. These two are very related. Creating phase for the process and creating processes for each part. And all these three are very related. Because you can create a phase using a process with a loadout all at the same time. If you imagine you've got like a dialogue and you say create phase, you pick a process and you pick an either existing loadout or you create a new one at that point, right? And then somehow you'll have this list of parts slightly later, or a list of placements rather. Yes, it's going to be a list of placements with a ref des, which will have parts on it, and I think this is slightly maybe the process for it's like for each. I mean, it is for a part, but you don't do it from the part's perspective. You sort of do it from the ref des's. I mean, there's a short list of parts. It's complicated. What can we do? What can we do? Let's ignore this assign process to parts thing and assign loadout to parts for just a moment, and think about what it is that we want to get out of this once we try and save all this information. So we've got this list of parts. See, because a part doesn't really have a state. Yeah, this is weird. Now that I'm looking at this, because of this multiple loadouts, it feels like this stuff should be inside the phase, but and then yes, okay, and then there should probably be a list of ref deses used by that part. It's not very easy, this. It's going to completely break everything that I've already written. Okay. So, sort of this information is essentially duplicated once you assign it to a phase, so you don't even need any of this. So let's just Let's fix this. It's not even a ref des, it's a list of unit and ref deses. Okay. I'm sort of thinking a little bit ahead here. Yeah, wow, complicated. Ref des. How about we say because we've got our placements and we've got that somewhere from the design variant. Let's this is so broken. This is very, very broken. This is so broken. I honestly don't know. Do we put the... We've got an overall list of parts, like the all parts list, and we need to maintain this list because this list might change between going through this once and then going through it again. Oh, this is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Choose processes for each part. I mean, you do that, but you don't do it with... I mean, you sort of do it in your head, but I don't think you do it in the software. But then you sort of do, because the phase has a process associated with it. So perhaps, let me save a copy of this. Is this right? Should it be like this? I think it should be. Let me go back to this. Yeah, it's like decide the processes to be used for each part in the job. You decide it and then you create a phase. You need a phase. You can't do anything without a phase. Yeah, you can reorder these. Yeah, create a phase for each process to be used. Let me undo that. Because when you're assigning parts to loadouts, it's implicit that you're picking a phase for it, you see. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. It's very tricky, this is. It's sort of like choose process for each part. Like, should just delete it. Because when you assigning the parts to the loadouts is already attached to a phase, you see. So when you're assigning parts to loadouts, the part needs to be, yeah, you have to, I don't know. This is somewhat confuzzling me. Okay, I think maybe it is okay to choose a process for each part like this, and some of this should happen automatically. Because if the placement is like, say it's a through-hole part, right? Yeah, okay. Maybe sort of adding some more details about the part might be more... Because you could manually place it, and you could pick and place machine place it, right? On the same board, on the top and the bottom. And therefore, does it help? Like, some parts can't be pick and placed, right? Because they don't fit in the machine or whatever, or they're through hole or something, right? And some parts can both be manually placed, or or you use another machine to do it. You've always got the option of manually placing parts, I think. Well, yeah, you do. It's like, maybe it should be processes like this. And maybe this should just be like this. We know a part can be assigned to multiple loadouts, and this is definitely wrong. So we're going to get rid of these. Let's go with this, and let's see if that works for the later things that we're going to need to do as well. Right, so the idea is that when you're creating the phase and you're assigning a part to a loadout, right, you can't assign a part to a phase that uses a process that isn't applicable to the part. That makes some sense. Okay. Okay, now we're going to need to do this whole refdes thing. And I know that I don't want to be trawling through each of the different phases to find all the different refdeses for all the different design variants all the time. And we know we're going to sort of need to sort this list sort of independently and so on. And maybe that belongs in like a separate file, but also maybe not. So right, why would we be assigning a part to a loadout? Because that phase has got some placements that it needs to place that use that part, and that phase is going to be for placing one or more PCB units, because it could be placing, it could be doing a panel, where there's 6 of the same unit, and therefore you've got 6 like R1, 6 times R2, 6 times R3, right? And it needs like a path to it. So I think maybe we're going about this a little bit wrong in like in the list. Let me go back to this. Where we've got assigned parts to loadouts, right? You're not actually really assigning the parts. I mean, you are, because a loadout is it's a byproduct of assigning a placement to a process, and I think that's what we're missing here. So it's more. It's more like assign placements. Yeah. We're missing a step, aren't we? That's what the problem is. Assign placements to processes, right? And then once you've got a placement for a process, you can then get a short list of the parts that need to be in that need to be in the loadout. Not process, phase. Sorry, assign placements to a phase. I think this is what we're sort of missing. Does it go here? I think maybe it goes here. Look, perhaps it goes there. We're missing this, weren't we? That's what the problem is. Assign placements to phase. Then you assign a loadout to it, and then the loadout might already have the parts in it that you need to use for the phase, but it might not have all of them, and you might need to change it a bit. And then you add the parts from the placements that are assigned to the phase in order to create your loadout. And your loadout is complete when it contains all of the parts used by the placements for the phase. Yes, that's what's missing. Assign placements to phase. That's the problem, isn't it? We were missing a step. Fine. Okay. Right, we've identified the problem though. Oh, complicated, no? Okay, so and this is wrong here. This should be assign a loadout to each phase. Yeah, I've got that written down here. Assign placements to phase. Yeah. Choose processes for each part. I think this choose processes for each part is something that happens when you're making the assignment of a placement to a phase. Let's just pull this out. Let's pull that out for a moment. and then edit this and say assign placements to a phase. It's probably in the wrong place. Right, let's rejigger this a little bit. Create a phase for each process. We've chosen the processes. Yeah, we've done that. Assign placements of phase. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think this is really right. Let's delete it. Gone. Okay. Where does that leave us? Right. Gosh. Well, this is a bit of a mess, isn't it? Because we had this one before this, and then this one uses some of the same stuff that this one did, and both of these are wrong. I feel like I should just delete some stuff at this point, and then just add back what we need, rather than refactoring it. I think it might be quicker. Nuts. Okay. Let's go back to this though and think about the long-term sort of what we want now. So, applicable processes. Hold on a second. Let me undo deleting this. No. Yeah, we need to determine the applicable processes to use for each part in the job. Because that's what we need in order to do the other bits. Can we automate this? Are there rules for that? I mean, like, some part, for instance, could like always be manually placed, and you might have some rules somewhere to say this, based on like some pattern or some flag in the placement file or something like this, right? So that when you go to assign placements to a phase, if the placement uses a part, yeah, you need, yeah, because you use this to build a short list of parts. So we're going to need our total list of placements, and for each placement we're going to need a phase for it. And the total list of placements will contain all the placements for all the PCB units, so there will be like a path, a placement sort of key or path or something. Yeah. Okay, determine applicable process to be used for each part of the job. Okay, what do we have here? We've got assign process to parts. So it's sort of right, but not right. Assign process to parts. Okay, okay. Yeah, alright, we'll keep that. Let's fix this applicable processes thing then. But delete the other thing that we were looking at. So we're gonna keep this. And if it's an empty list, then you need to do something with that part. And therefore it has a state, which you need to be able to check. Yeah, no, that seems okay. Let's do that then. Let's update this test and fix this. Well, we got ourselves in a bit of a mess here, didn't we? Dear. Oh well. At least we caught it now. Right. Righto. Okay, let's fix this. Assign process to parts. So this still does make sense because we're doing this. Should we just change this to processes, or is it better to have applicable processes? Or usable processes? Let's just go with processes for now because I don't want to think about it. We can rename it later, it's not too important. Processes. Maybe applicable was good. No, I'm gonna put applicable back. I think I was right first time there. Okay, fine. We're gonna make that happen. Right, so this isn't gonna work obviously because it's gonna have some completely, you know, we've got to fix this. All right then, let's fix it. Let's fix it. So. Bit of a mess now, isn't it, this? What are we going to do? So our project has part states, right? Part states is this. And what we said was we're going to remove loadout from it and make this a vector of process assignments. but it needs to be called applicable processes. And I'm not sure whether we need a process assignment anymore, because it's just in the list or it's not now. So we'll leave that there for the moment, and we'll just put that in. Let's add this in for clarity. I don't think this should be an enum. I mean, I defined it as being an enum to start with, but it shouldn't be, because you should be able to define your own ones. Let's fix this as well. Let's just break. We're breaking eggs today. It's going to be this. Here we go. It's going to be like these ones. Oh, this is so broken. Let's delete process assignment. Oh, this is so broken. This is so broken. Oh dear. It's basically going to be like that. Where's that doing there? What's that doing there? Oh. Okay, we'll put that back. I was trying to keep them in the same order. But there we go. Okay. So our project is going to have part states. Part states is a list of a map of part and part state, right? Applicable process, and it's got this short list of processes. This should be plural. God damn it. Processes. Yep. Right. Okay. Let's just assign process to parts. Yep. This is all still correct. Update assignment. So this bit is probably broken now. Yeah, this is not right now. No, we don't need this process arg anymore. It's just going to be one of those. Yeah, that's going to be very broken until we fix it. Let's see, right, process assignment doesn't exist anymore. Okay, let's have a look at these. So this is the thing that we need to fix. We're basically saying if you've got a process, then assign it to that thing. And there's a bunch of other code to do with like loadout assignments, but that doesn't exist on the part state anymore, right? So I'm just going to delete this bit because it's wrong. And I'm going to delete this from here as well, which means I need to delete it from here. And then we've got this assign loadout to parts, and I think this entire command is wrong at this point. And it reused most of the same previous code anyway, so let's just write to do here and delete this, and then we can think about it later. Right. Should we have a short list of I'm just thinking about is this public, like, do you have to do it? Oh dear, why is it complaining about this? Oh, it's supposed to be .to string. Fine. Okay, let's go back to this. And we're going to say, when we create a job, the process is going to contain this as well. Let's see where we get to now. Right, so we've got to deal with this process assignment stuff. So we're just like adding it to the list. It's not really changing process anymore. It's just saying that you can do this with it. I'm thinking about the project, the part state of the project and so on. It probably needs to be a set Oh dear. Part state, part state. This should, the process should only be able to be in there once, right? And we had this B tree set thing, didn't we? Let's make it a B tree set. Right. And we're going to need to futz around with this. Because of it. This has to go before it. There we go. B-tree set. So on a B-tree set, you can check if it's empty, which is fine. And you can append two sets, yeah. You can insert. Okay. So the insert doesn't fail, but you get a response back. That's interesting. Okay, fine. We can play with that. We can play with that. So if you've got a process, I think we just try and insert it into the B-tree set, and then say if it was inserted. So yeah. V dot applicable processes dot insert, and then we insert a clone of the process, I suppose. We're probably also going to need some way to remove a process for a part as well, apparently. I suppose we could print out the list of applicable processes. Yeah, something like that. Oh dear. Let's just comment these out. Not sure we need it, in fact. Perhaps we don't need it. Right, so we can create a job, great. This one is just going to be the difference between this. Yeah, okay, okay. So we need to fix this. Yeah. Oh, a comma. There's always the extra comma. Damn it. Flipping extra commas. There we go. Okay, right. Assign process to parts. Where are we getting to with this one? So it's a changing process. So this is what we expected, but this is what we got. But we changed this now. So we say added process, and it does this. Which is this. So we don't do this anymore. We say added process for these parts, and then we have the applicable processes like this. Kind of surprised the way that it prints it out like that, actually, but there we are. Fine. Okay. Now there is a bit of an issue in that if you try and specify the name of a process, which isn't in the project. So I'm going to make a little note to fix that. But that needs to be we don't need to do this anymore. To do, oh yeah. Verify, validate process is a process used by the project. Validate that. Okay. Okay. Right, where are we at now? Let's have a look. Fine, that should be okay. Applicable processes. Yeah, okay. That's right, because we're only saying we're only adding that one. And at some point there'll be some rules to do that for us automatically. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Right, now what? Is it a comma? Is there a comma? Oh, look, this is a... Oh yeah, we've got the wrong type of bracket. Oh, that's easily fixed. like it appeared elsewhere. Yeah, there he is. Well, this is exciting. I'm glad I worked out this though. Right, so still failing because why now? Because there's a comma. Yes, okay, fine, fine, fine. No commas. Okay, now what? Okay, that one passes. Good. Right, create a phase. Unmatched ordered element. Created phase. Process PnP. Right. But what we actually got was this. Right. That should be fairly easy to fix. That should be fairly easy to fix. We should just be able to use display for that. Nope. What else is wrong? Okay. 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 No comma at the end. Hey, we're getting there. Right. And now we can deal with this thing that's not even right anyway. Okay. Oh dear. Okay. Let me get some water. One moment, please. Let me bring up the this thing. Assign placements to phase. That's what we've got to do. All right, we're back. So, yeah. All right. Let's. Oh dear, that's not the right thing. Okay, we did it. Yay. Save. Assign placements to a phase. Right. That's what we've got to do. But at the moment, we've got this assign loadout to parts thing. Which was just wrong. Because a part can be used by multiple loadouts for multiple phases. So rather than attempt to fix this, we're just going to delete it. Right. I think that is probably going to be more sane, and then we can do a commit, and then we can build on something that we know we need. Right, and we've got this assign loadout to parts thing, which we know is wrong, so we're just going to delete it. And then we've got this assigned loadout for parts. It does seem like a bit of a shame to delete a load of stuff that I wrote, but you know, if it's wrong, it's wrong, right? Yeah, that ain't going to be right. Yeah. Let's just delete it. We'll add it back when we need it. Wow, that's harsh. What are we missing here? What's different? Let me try and read this. Is it the indentation level? Yeah. Okay. Alright, great. There was some other stuff that we commented out in here. Yes, this. We don't need... Apparently we can serialize B-tree sets without futzing around too much. Okay. Apparently we can just derive it. Fine. We've got this loadout assignment thing, which is apparently used somewhere. It's only used here. And then if we go back to it, there should be no usages, right? Okay, fine. There we go, goodbye. So it was wrong, just delete it. Oh. That hurt. And things were going all so well, they were going so well. Let's run all the tests. All the tests pass. Okay. We're going to do a commit. No, not done. What did we do? There's a couple of things we did. Allow more flexible process naming, because it needs to be flexible. Right, but that wasn't the main thing that we did. The main thing we did, well, I suppose delete assigning parts to a single loadout as it was wrong. Right. Yeah, so the main thing we did was allow multiple applicable processes for a part. An error transcribing the design requirements to a diagram resulted in an incorrect requirements. Resulted in incorrect requirements being implemented. Additionally, it was found that assigning placements to a phase was missing from the requirements. Yeah. Okay, fine. You know. Right. Okay. It felt like one step forward, two steps back. Nuts. Nuts. Right. Let's just push this. Let's push all this up because yes, I just added that to do. I know what it is. Okay, so now we can think about with all the bad stuff gone and deleted. We can think about what it is that we want to do properly. But I think there is one thing that I did that we can poke a little bit, because here excuse me. Yesterday I reused this update assignments thing, and I don't think the name of this is right anymore. I updated this so that you could add the loadout onto this as well, and you could either specify a process or a loadout, and it would do one or the other, or both, depending on what you passed it. Right, but this only does one thing now, and you're always going to have a process. So we can delete this little bit and fix the indentation, right? And it should still all work, except that I didn't do that. Okay, fine. Update assignments. It's not really assignments, it's like I guess it's add process. And at some point we're going to need to probably like say add this or remove this as being a thing, and we could have an enum for the process, which could be like an operation that you want to do to the list of processes, like add or remove, right? So we'll call it update still. It's not really assignments anymore. to do. Only supports adding a process. Right. Fine, everything's good. What do we do? We did some minor refactoring, minor cleanup to process application. Part process. Applicable what? Applicable? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Minor cleanup to applicable processes for parts. Sure. We're good. Right. Okay. Okay. So our diagram says this. Let's check the wordy thing as well. So assign placements to phase. Assign placements to phase. Let's try and do this. Oh, it's hot. It's hot here. It's very hot. All right. Assign placements to phase. Okay. All right, fine. So, yeah, let's start here. Assign placements to phase. Yeah, I think this is going to be the right place to start. Right. Okay. So that didn't work because we don't have a command for that. So what we said was assign placements to phase. Right. Yay. But no. All right. Then what? Hey, we can do it already. No. I suppose we better, work out what arguments and things like that we need, and what it should look like at the end of it, right? Okay. So we're going to start with this because this is the last sequence. And this probably should have said 5 a minute ago, but never mind. it won't be wrong for long. 5. 5. Right, so at the end of this, we're going to have some extra things in here. But we want to assign placements to phase. Now, this is going to get annoying. We know we need a phase, and I think we just created a phase called phase 1, right? Oh no, we called it top 1, right? So that's the phase we're going to put things in. In order to do it, we're going to have to specify some placements somehow, right? And some of the placements a placement that you specify here may not be valid for the phases selected process. So we need to make sure we deal with that at some point. Let's look at our list of placements as well. Placements, right? And there's going to be some other assertions there, and let's just write to do here and then comment that out for the moment. Right, let's look at the placement. So in where we created the job, oh yeah, not where we created the second one. This is our list of placements that we've got, right? Now, we did that, and we assigned a variant to a unit in the next test, right? Why is this? Hold on. Oh yeah, that was there. Okay, sorry, I thought this was in the other one. Right, and we say panel 1, unit 1 uses this design. Right. So we've got our path to the unit. So for a given placement on that PCB unit, and when I'm talking about PCB units, imagine the bed of a pick and place machine looks like this. It's got 2 panels and it's got 3 separate boards stuck out there, and each colour denotes a different design variant, and the green board around some of the other ones denotes a panel, right? So we want to say that all of the placements for, say, these units that are on the top go in this phase. So, yeah. I mean, doing this on the command line is a bit rubbish. You want a UI to do this, but we still need to build sort of like underlying stuff. Like ideally, you'd have some sort of user interface where you've got this short list of parts, and it shows you detail about what side they're on and all this kind of stuff. And then when ooh, that's an interesting point. The phase should probably have a side on it. Ooh, that's interesting. Let me think about that. I'm going to make a note of that. I'll make a note in the code bit. Right. Yes. For this one, phases. Phase. Well, hold on. Oh dear. Because a phase could be placing multiple design variants, and they don't necessarily all need to be the same way up. Like you could place the bottom of one and the top of another one on the same thing. I mean, you could. All the things on the panel need to have the same side to them. Yeah. Ooh, well. Oh, now this side thing is like sidetracked me totally from unit assignments. I think we need to specify the side when we do this unit assignment. Yeah, okay. No, maybe. Ooh, wait, no. Unit assignments. I think perhaps you do. No. It's to a phase, isn't it? You say you want to build these things, and therefore you know which files to look in for the placements. But the phase is like you do the top of it and then you do the bottom of it. So the phase probably needs to have, let's have a think about this, create a phase. So perhaps when you create a phase, you want to say in this phase I'm doing the tops of these units. Ooh. God, it's complicated, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Future, or let's say to do. Consider adding PCB unit plus side assignments to the phase. I think that's what we need to do. Because otherwise, how can you come up with a list of placements? Right. back to this. Right, so we want to specify the placement. Let's just try writing down like a few examples and maybe it'll clarify some. So say if we said well, we've got these unit assignments, right? So let's take that, right? And if we wrote down J1 like this, you know, that could be one way of specifying it, right? Another way of specifying it might be something like everything on the panel everything on all the panels gets assigned to this phase, right? Or another way might be, you know, not panel. Another way might be everything. Or, you know, you just do star:(r) dot star or something, you know, like this. Let's just use regular expressions here for clarity. It seems reasonable. And using placements might be one way to determine which things go on there. Now, if those placements were meant for the other side, so when you go through the list of placements and you've got and you've found all the placements for all the design variants, and then one turns out to be for the wrong side, then you can't put it in this phase if this phase has not got that thing assigned to it on the right side, I suppose. That kind of makes sense. So if you're doing a double-sided one, you know, you'd say assign placements to phase top 1, placements dot star, and then the next one you run it again and you would say phase bottom _1, and you would say placements dot star, and then all the ones for the top get assigned to the top one, and all the ones to the bottom get assigned to the bottom one, and you're done. And that's sort of like your normal simple use case, right? I think we're going to need to add the side to this. Fairly soon. Yeah. So let's just make a note here. To do ensure placements match the phases PCB units side. Right. Okay, that sort of makes sense. You know, another way of assigning things to it might be, say, by manufacturer part number. And then all of the ref deses for all of the PCB units that use that part then get assigned to that phase. So that might be one way of doing it. Let's say by placement path pattern. Okay. And let's say by manufacturer and MPN. I suppose. All right, yeah. Okay. Let's go for the. Let's go for this one. Let's do this to start with. Right, all the resistors get assigned to this phase. Yeah, all right, cool. Okay, so that's what we're going to do to start with. Yeah, so then we need to work out what's going to be, what the project is going to look like once once we've done that. So what's it going to look like? So we're missing a step, you see, we're missing a step. Or are we? Yeah, well, this is just tricky. Tricky. I'm thinking that the phases needs to have a list of the PCB units that you're going to place in that phase. Yeah. Do you need it? Do you need it? That's the thing. Should a phase have like a sides and then okay. So where we create a phase here, this is what we've added. I think we need to fix the phases. I think when you're creating a phase, it should automatically just add all the units to it, and then you need to specify a side, and then later you can go back and change the sides for them. So perhaps there's perhaps where we create the phase, we need to specify the side. I think we need to do this first. So that it appears in the list. Now, I'm going to keep this simple to start with. It's possible that you want to do the top of one and the bottom of another one, right? Which would mean that you would have a list of sides for each of the things that you were trying to place. But let's say, just for now, we don't support that. And that could be a future improvement. But the process of like determining which placements were valid for it, would still be okay. So we're going to specify a side. So fine. So help for create phase. It's going to need a side. Thus, something like that, right? So if we had a side argument to this, why not? Yeah, seems reasonable. PCB side. Okay. Where am I going to put this? Phase. Let's put it here. Needs to be serializable. The phase needs to have a side. Okay. Right. Fine. Right. So we need to add that. Side. Should we call this PCB side? I think so. Yeah, okay. Which means we need a PCB side up here. And therefore we need to pass PCB side over here now. There we go. Create phase. And this needs to be PCB side. And we can finally add the import. Not sure why it's complaining there. We have to make this parsable. How did we do that? Who remembers? Well, you know, we had two arg thing and all that stuff, didn't we? Aye, we did. Oop, what happened there? Yeah, okay, let's look for it. enums or something. Yeah. This thing. So this PCB side is going to be a PCB side arg here. What? Be nice to have an example. Command attributes. Value attributes. So I suppose we can go rename all lower. I don't really think we need that. Why is it complaining? We don't need clone on it. We need to go let we need to do this. Yeah. And this is just a very simple mapping. Okay, everything's fine. Now, why is it trying to clone it? Probably because Clap wants to clone things. Fine. Okay, how's it failing? Unexpected arg PCB side. Oh, this is good. This is good. This is good. It's supposed to be a dash. Okay. And here we've got a capital T, which is correct. Oh, not there. Because this is a Rust enum. I suppose when we serialize it, we could make it be lowercase just for happiness. Yeah, I think we probably should do that. Okay, let's see if we can work that out. So when we serialize it, You're supposed to go Surday. Is it the same? Something like that. Yeah, look, I see it's got rename all this stuff. Yeah. Is it lowercase like this? Yes. Okay. Progress. Oh, yeah, okay, good. Perfect. Looking good. But it's not side, it's PCB underscore side. There we go. Alright, happy days. Good, so we've got our side on the phase now. Which arguably could be a commit by itself. Let's see if we can make a commit from those changes. So if we say yes, we want this, and yes, we want this. Huh. Oh, I didn't get this quite right. Close. Oh yeah, and then we need a PCB side up here. Yeah. Show me the difference. Where's the difference? Oh, it's a capital S. Okay, right. So we want this and we want this as well now. Planner. Updating the phase takes a PCB side. Yes, yes. 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 Yeah, all of that. Yes, we want this. Yes, we want this. You want the PCB side, but we don't want this. We do want all of this. We want the changes to create phase, but we don't want this new bit. Right. And creating a phase. We added support for add. I mean, when you write it, you put add, like added, but when you read it back later and you get commit history, I don't know. Is add better than added? I don't know. What tense do you use? Alright, fine. Now let's quickly review this. So the only changes we should have now are the new bit that we're trying to do. Yep. And then this is the new test that we're trying to work out what we're doing. Right. So this is good. So yeah, we're gonna have a go at this one. Right. So assigning placements to a phase by a placement by some placement pattern. We're gonna have a go at doing it. Oh, hi everyone in the stream. Hello. Say hi in the chat. Don't forget to click like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Right. Right. So we need a phase argument to this. Phase, I suppose. Now, this is like a phase name, though, isn't it? And this is just going to be another one of these, you know, simple little things like this. So we use variant name. Here we go. Phase name. Sure. I don't know whether we need all of these things yet. I know you need clone, but the other ones I'm not sure about. We put it underneath variant name. Yeah. And we need to implement display for it as well. There's quite a lot of repeated code here. At some point we can go back and like add a macro for all these things if we want to. Right, so we've got a phase name and we can import that now. There we go. So that means help for we don't have this yet. Okay, so let's take the last one of these that we did. Most recent one. Help for assign placements to phase. With underscores, because you know. And then it was something like assign placements to phase. Anyway. Yeah, something like this. Let's see if that passes. Yeah, okay. No. Well, it does help if you actually, you know, call the right command, doesn't it? Okay. Right, now what? How's it different? Yeah, there's no options on this yet. Then what? Why? Oh, yes. Because we didn't. Oh shit! What happened there? Come back. We didn't say it's supposed to be long and it requires the equals. Now we do. There we go. The help works now. Good. Okay, good. Right. So now we're back to this. So yeah, we can specify phase there. This is good. That's one argument dealt with. But it doesn't know about this placements thing here. Okay, so let's make this non-optional to start with. Did I put regexp or regexp? I put regexp on the other ones. And then what we used for these was just like a regex like this, which worked out to be very nice. We were quite happy that that worked. There we go. Okay. Okay, and then we need to fix up this. Okay, so placement. Oh, duh. Right, then what? Yeah, so this will be broken now because of the placements addition. And we'll get the appropriate indentation from the longest one here. And this is going to need to go here as well, I think. Help works again, good. And now it runs it, but we haven't implemented it. I don't want to implement it just yet. Because we haven't worked out really what it needs to do. Not really. We want to say how we need, we've said how we want it to get it to do something, but we haven't said exactly what. My shirt's got a hole in it. I need a new one. I love this shirt though, it's well good. Look at this. I mean, it's cool. Right. So, we said that when we assign these placements to this phase, something should happen in the project state somewhere. And we've got this phase, and I guess, you know, potentially we could record all the patterns, but I don't think that's the right way of doing this. I think at the time that you do it, it needs to process what is there and then do something. But what should it do? So, you know, one thing that it could do might be, say, placements and then ... like this. But I'm not entirely sure that's a good idea. It might be a good idea. I don't know yet though. The reason I'm thinking it might not be a good idea is that if you've got one global list of placements, you can look at that list and say, well, which placements haven't been assigned to a phase yet? And that job is much easier to do if you don't put all the placements in a phase. Right? And likely some of the other tasks, such as sorting them and picking them and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So what we could do as an alternative approach to that would be perhaps put them here. And then say something like the path. And then this might be like panel 1, unit 1, R1. Oh, this needs to be an object. I don't know why there's this double bracket thing here, like there's an array of... Seems a bit weird. Might have to look at that. It feels a bit unnecessary, like why isn't this just sort of like indented here, right? Like, I don't know. Oh, it's because... Yeah, okay. Right, it's an array and the items in the array can be whatever and... Yeah, okay, fine. Fine. And then that way we know that this resistor has been applied to it, but we're saying all resistors, so let's just add another one just for clarity. Yeah. And then, I don't know whether we want to store or update the rest of the details to the placements in here or not yet. Like, for instance, the X, Y, side, manufacturer part number and all this kind of stuff, right? Probably do want some of those. Let's put at least these bits in here. Right, this seems fine. Yeah. There seems to be some overlap between placements to a phase and a loadout. No, because the loadout contains the feeder. Yeah, no, it's different. It's definitely different. There is a bit of overlap. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. So I think this sort of makes more sense, and that way that every single part from every single PCB unit will be in a giant list of placements, for which we can then later do some, use for doing some of the other things that we know that we need to do, such as I can't find there. There it is. Such as this one, right? At some point we need to do this. So, and also we need to do this. So if we've got this list of placements, then we can easily add like an order to this list for a given phase. Yeah, we can have like a phase order field, for instance, right? And we can also have a placed field for the other one. So it works for both of these scenarios for me, doing it like that. So that's what I'm thinking we should make it do. Right. Okay. Now, how's it going to do that? So if you've got a phase, yeah, the placements doesn't have like a phase reference to. We need that, don't we? Because initially we were putting it here, and that meant that it knows which phase it is because it's grouped by it's in the phase object. But if we put it here, it doesn't know what phase it's in. So I guess we need to say phase top 1 like this, right? That seems okay. And it can, a particular refdes can only be in one phase. This is true. This should be R2. Yeah, okay. And let's have a look at the applicable processes. So this part, right, has applicable processes, and when we specify the phase, we specify this. So that means we can assign it to this phase when we look over the list of placements, right? Now, there's a problem. Right. What about the other thing in the list, right? Because we've got this connector, right, which comes from here, J1, right? We've also got this place flag, so let's just put this in here as well for good measure, and we'll say true. Right, everything's fine, but we've got to deal with that other one. Now, no phase. Right, that's what I want to say. Now we could do like a phase assignment thing, or we could do an option, but it turns out that the serialization stuff, you can say skip it if it's none, and then when you deserialize it, if it's not present, you just say it's none. So we can just remove the phase for J1. Right. There's no phase for it. And then we can add another phase and then move this to the bottom or something like this. Right, I don't know. It's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah. Okay. So I think we're going to do that. Yeah. That seems reasonable. Right. Okay. I need some food and some water and a break and things like that. So I think now that we've decided what we want to do, and we've unfudged the things I did yesterday, and we've worked out what the workflow's actually supposed to look like. Now that we've got this assign placements to phase thing here, we can go ahead and continue with this, and then we can go back to the loadout assignments and all this kind of stuff later on. But I think we're in better shape than we were when I first started this afternoon, which is good. So we're going to leave it there, people. And yes, so just remember, it's only software. How hard can it be? We'll find out on the next one.